So what's going on, fellas? How you all doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
Right. Man, I'm excited about the opportunity just to have you all here. This is something that I've always wanted to do and do a live, courageous conversation with Dr. Sir. And so, Rob, when you approached me and he was like, hey, man, we got this idea, Mariah, and man, we was like, let's make it happen. So I appreciate you all being here, joining us with No More Hiding, man. Everybody know, and you're joining in today, this is an extension of No More Hiding. It's called Courageous Conversations with Dr. Sir. It's an opportunity to be able to hear different perspectives, and individuals just get a chance to share their authentic stories and share their views. So we're excited that you decided to tune in with us for this first special episode of Courageous Conversations, and we're going to jump right into it. So, fellas, I need somebody. Just go with Brother Winston on this side. Introduce yourself, man, to the audience and let them know who you are, man.
All right. First, I want to say thank you, Dr. Sir, for having us. My name is Brandon Winston. I'm a college student at Truman State. I also play football for the university, and I'm a sneaker enthusiast outside of school. So that's what I do in my free time.
All right. So is it a particular pair of sneakers that you really like?
No, I like all sneakers.
Oh, okay. Particular color?
My favorite color is red, so I try to get mostly red shoes, but I wear anything.
All right. Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
I see. All right. Good deal. So, man, it's glad to have you here. We're looking forward to hearing from you tonight. All right. Relax. Just enjoy yourself. Darius, talk to us, man.
Hello, my name is Darius Watson. I'm a student here at Truman State University, and I'm a communications major with a minor in engineering. And I'm a hat connoisseur. As you can see, I got a fitted hat on representing the STL because that's where I'm from, St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
And I have a dog. He's a year and 9 months old, and that's my heart, and I do everything for him.
All right. What kind of dog is it?
He is a pit bull mixed with a German shepherd and a husky, so he's 3 in 1.
Big boy.
Yeah.
So good deal, man. Well, once again, thank you for joining us, man. Relax.
Thank you for having
and
me.
just share your story, all right?
Yes, sir.
Rob, what's happening, man? Introduce yourself to the people, man.
My name is Robert Greco. I'm an English MAE major. I attend Truman State University. I'm from St. Louis. A little bit about me. I played 5 sports growing up. I'm a band geek. I play 3 instruments, and I'm an anime geek. So I'm a big guy that plays football. But
Really?
I'm a geek. I'm a geek at heart, for sure.
For real?
For sure.
I didn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
What instruments?
So I play the baritone, the trumpet, and the tuba.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
sir.
Were you a marching band?
Couldn't be. I got football going,
sure.
marching band. But I was one of the best in the state. Because we went to state one time, got a 1 for sight reading. Really big up to the tuba.
Good deal, man.
Yes, sir.
Just all around. So, man, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Yes, sir.
Demetrius, DJ, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Good deal. So talk to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Dametrius Wesley Jr. I also go by DJ. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I attend Truman State University. I'm a senior, where I'm a business administration major, concentration in finance. And man, I'm just a naturally curious person. I like dabbling in so many different things, but not necessarily like expertise in anything. But I just love like learning. So that's me.
Good deal. So is there a particular focus that you, that like a hobby or something that you really
I like basketball, skateboarding.
Okay.
Of course, like usual stuff like, watching shows, but I love music, all kinds of music, like
Really?
different genres, like literally anything.
So could you be like a DJ one day or something? Or you just
I have
enjoy
DJ
this?
before. I have DJ before, but I'm more so like, I don't know if I'm a DJ, but I see myself doing so many different things, so like that's not out of question.
Good deal. Well, man, thank you for joining us. And
Thanks for having me.
Now, we're going to jump right into this conversation. And once again, we want to remind you all, feel free to share your comments. Those of you who are joining us live stream, if you're joining us through YouTube, if it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're joining us, ask questions. These gentlemen here, they're here to engage with you. They're here to have conversation and really just kind of share their perspective about this life. Although it says intelligent Black male students, we're going to just talk about the men, right? We're going to look at it, and we know that college is just a part of your existence, right? You are men that are going to be leaders, that are going to be world changers. So we just want to hear from you today, all right? I want to start my first question off, and we're going to start it off kind of easy going, right? So the first question I want to ask you is, when you were in high school, Did you imagine going to college?
I can start
We
that.
don't order.
Okay.
I'm about to
say.
However you want to join in. This is an open
Go ahead.
dialogue.
I know for me, especially in my family, it is, I would say it's mandatory to go to college because that's the goal that everyone has when we start school. Like as soon as we start school, your goal is to go to school, come home, do your homework, and do your best at all times and complete each grade all the way up until you graduate, and hopefully you find a job in the workforce or find your passion or whatever you want to do. So I know that was really a big thing. That's a really big thing in my family, especially with my mom, because she's hard on me and my older brother a lot.
Okay.
And so I know she's probably tuning in now too.
for sure.
She in it.
So
Oh,
I would say that if we didn't, I don't know what else we would probably do. I know because that's really the only thing that we are, especially my family, we're educators.
Okay.
My mom's a math teacher in Jennings School District, and my nana, she's a teacher in the City School District down in St. Louis. So we're just a family full of educators, and so school is our number one priority.
Good deal. Good deal. What's your thoughts?
Oh, for sure. I mean, coming out of high school, learning about. I came into college knowing what I wanted to do. Right. I knew I wanted to be a computer gaming programmer. I wanted to make games. That was my passion growing up. So I knew to get to that point, I had to have a degree. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll have better success rate of getting to that point with a degree. So it was no question to me. I was just ready, like senior year going in.
oh, you can go.
So for me, since I played football and all types of sports in high school, sports had a big influence on me going to college because I wanted to go to college. My mom, she didn't go to college, so she wanted me to go. So I thought that was a big goal that I could accomplish. And playing ball helped me for college to be free. So it kind of was like another reason why I shouldn't at least attempt to go to college.
So. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to you. I have a question, but I'm gonna go to DJ first. DJ, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, it's funny because I never had like anything pushing me or saying like go to college. I just thought that was like a natural occurrence. Like, okay, middle school, high school, college. Like that just seemed like the normal thing to do. But I never had anyone in my ear saying, "Hey, you gotta go to college. Go to college." My mom, she went like nursing school. My dad had some college, but he never like graduated. I think he got like close to his associate's degree.
Okay.
But no one was in the back of my head like saying like go. I just thought that was the next thing. So I just went to college and then I came in as a math major and I quickly got into business finance. Like I always had like a knack for that. Like even in high school, like finances, microeconomics, that was like my thing. So
cool. When we think about our paths and how we got to this space, it's something that to really focus on. And Winston, when you said that, I thought about my experience being a first generation college student, right? And parents not experiencing college. And really, quite honestly, not even finishing up high school. So what was that like? For me, it was kind of challenging because I didn't have somebody to guide me. So what was it like for you coming in as a first generation college student?
Well, both my parents are actively in my life. So, I mean, it like as far as like the schoolwork and stuff, that's hard, but that comes with it. You expect that when you're going to college. But I would say the challenge was the transition was it wasn't that bad for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
When you all think about college and from high school and when you first came, what was that first month, week? What was that like for you, man? Do you remember what that experience was like?
Me and Darius since we play football, you got to come up early.
Okay.
That fall camp. It was a big adjustment for I should just speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure Darius agrees too. It was different. It was rough. Like
what was rough about it?
Just the whole environment, like you talking to these coaches and stuff. They all nice and stuff. You get down here, it ain't no play. It's nothing. It's all work.
That's it.
You busy you wake up at 5:30. You not finishing the day till about 8:39. Your last meeting is like 8:39. You barely ate. Stressful. You gotta wake up and do it all over again. Then you ain't got nobody to talk to for real in your room. I mean, besides your roommate, of course, but you really all on your own.
Really? Yeah. Any other thoughts? What anybody want to add to that?
I can. It was fun. I ain't having nothing going on. I ain't had no sport. My freshman year was my funniest year, man. Like I had no worries. I was like my best as far as my GPA too.
Okay.
It's like the general courses, like they're supposed to be the easiest courses. So I was just having a blast. I'm like going to parties, like seeing stuff like I've never seen, and like I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, and this is Truman. So Truman is like one of BWI. It's a small school. So I started to kind of open my eyes. I'm like, wow, like imagine Mizzou or like an actual party school. Like this was decent. And then it definitely like declined right after that. Like as far as the parties and all that.
So reality kicked in.
Yeah, then it kicked in that, oh, this is Truman. Like this is, it is what it is. But yeah, my freshman experience was cool. It was cool.
Our freshman experience kind of got cut short with COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you all adjust to COVID and going from socializing to almost isolation, right? How do you adjust to that academically, mentally, emotionally?
I think it was hard coming in, and you had to have a lot of patience and great communication because, teachers teaching online for Zoom for the first time. We have classes that aren't starting on time, or you have communication that's not communicated. Hey, we have a quiz today. You didn't say that last time. So now we're keeping the patience with them so we can go ahead and progress and get a good grade in the course. And then I think really, for real, like being close to your family during those times. Because
I agree.
I had friends catching COVID. I had family members catching COVID. I had some dropping from it. So, that really helped bond your family tighter together than ever before because I was just forced to be in that situation. You was forced to see reality crumble while you had nothing but your family to rely on when you were stuck indoors.
I agree.
You want to add to it?
No, I mean, he really touched on it. It's actually crazy. I feel like right before COVID, me and my family definitely got like real close just from like me talking to my siblings more. But it's funny, it was like right before COVID even happened, I was kind of like already like wanted to do that, but COVID like kind of like just solidified, like pushed it. So, pretty much again, this was your family. I talked to my mom and dad every day and all that. But yeah, I think it was like out of all the bad things that with COVID, it definitely had like its pros, but of course, a lot of cons with everyone passing. So it was just a tough time. But
that's it. I want to shift a little bit, and I know we're talking about your experience as a college student, but I want to talk about just your experience as being a young Black man, right? So my first question I want to ask is, how do you view manhood? How do you define manhood from your perspective?
At first, I would say is taking care of all your responsibilities and everything on your plate and handling what you need to handle first and foremost.
I think to add on to that, just taking that step in maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't be out here no more just worrying about when the next party, or when I'm gonna hang out with my friends next. So you got bills to pay at this point. You got student loan to make sure you can work off. You got class that you've been paying for. This ain't free no more. You got class that you got to take care of so you don't go into even more debt. You know what I'm saying? You got responsibilities with sports or clubs. So just taking that step, being more mature about things.
Okay.
And actually like living up to the expectation that was put on us when we step into the adulthood role.
Okay. Yeah. Your generation has seen a lot of trauma with Black men, starting with Mike Brown, and then we've seen so many George Floyd, and I mean, when you see that kind of violence against Black men, what goes through your mind? What are you thinking? How are you feeling about that?
I know for me, it was sort of like, well, what was your real reason? Not your reason of he committed this crime or that crime, but what was your actual reason for you to either pull that trigger or, for instance, George Floyd, put your knee on his neck to where he couldn't breathe? So I was looking at it like there has to be another sense of like deep thought that you had to why you committed that senseless act on another man, another human being. Like we're all equal at the end of the day, especially if we all believe in one deity, one God. I don't know what any other people's religions are, but like we're all equal at the end of the day. So what makes you think that you could suppress or use your power that you have as a police officer to make somebody less of themselves or to make them as if they're nothing?
To add on what T's said, it's kind of like an eye opener to show you like how ugly the world really is, and like it kind of can touch home with you because it's like, dang, I could be next. Anything can happen at any moment, for real.
I think definitely the only term that came out was terror. Even in today or right now, I don't have trust for cops. Like I just anytime I see a cop, I get nervous. Because, Trayvon Martin, he's going down. That's not a cop, but, had a hood on, bow, shot.
Mm-hmm.
You had George Floyd, who was just trying to be him. You had Mike Brown. Anytime I think, when I see a cop, I'm like, my skin is a weapon to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to move carefully now. So I have to slow down even more now. So I have to turn down my music, stop enjoying myself.
Right.
Have to do what they say, act white, so I don't get shot up. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing I battle with. Definitely the junior year back on campus, because I was just upset. I was mad. I'm seeing all these different cases of people just going down because of your skin color. And then I'm seeing everybody who isn't a person of color just like, okay, it's an average day. We having people dying left and right, where now I have to move carefully anytime I see a badge. You're supposed to be my protector in society, not somebody who I see as a dictator, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. I don't want to see all that from one person.
Yeah, I know. Me and Brandon, we've had an experience where we were coming back from St. Louis, just taking a little trip back to St. Louis real quick, come back to school, where a cop pulled us over for no reason at all and tried to say he smelled weed, so he could search the car. And so he searched both of all our stuff, our bags and everything. He ended up finding nothing, but it was just a sense of like, why are you even searching the car? Or why did you even think that it was smelling like weed? And we told him we didn't know it was because we were in the rental car at the time.
And you can't smoke in a rental car.
Yeah, so it's against the rules. So
and neither one of us smoke anyways.
Right. So where did you even get the idea from that it smelled like weed?
I was going home for the Chiefs game over the past weekend. I actually encountered another racist cop. He pulled me over, no reason. He said I was speeding. I had cruise control on. I was going about 70 to 65. Well, I guess technically it's speeding, but
depending on where it's
it's 5 over. But you can't really. They're not going to.
Yeah, some places
they're not going to give you a ticket for
65 or 70. So you might have not even been speeding.
But yeah, so that basically he can I get your license, registrations? No problem. Then he asked me to step out the car. I didn't know that was a law, but I didn't know. I've never been asked to step out the car. So I'm like, what do I need to step out the car for? He's like, just because I said so, this and that. Boom, boom. I step out the car. He calls other cops up, basically. I tried to call my mom, because anytime I get pulled over,
I do the same thing. That's the first thing I do is call my mom.
He's like, what are you calling her for? You don't need nobody. You don't just weird stuff.
No, that is weird. It's crazy.
So, I ended up getting before I got in his car, he asked, could he pat me down? So I'm like, yeah, I don't have nothing on me. It's fine. So he patted me down. I got in his car. 2 more police cars pull up. I was basically sitting on the side of the road for 45 minutes just because you wanted to pull me over.
Yeah.
And then I don't even think he was clocking, because I think he was trying to pull someone else over that was speeding, but they was way far gone. So he seen I was black in the car and just pulled me over. But yeah, it just crazy how anything can happen.
I definitely want to add on to that real quick. And I was just listening to everybody, and I was like, man, something Darius said earlier, I definitely want to comment on. I'm gonna say what you just said, but so I've been pulled over a lot of times, and a few times I was speeding. I can admit that, it's whatever.
Yeah,
but,
I can. Yeah.
2 of those times I had to step up the car, and I just automatically complied, didn't even question it. But one time, and I was curious because was he did so one time I was an older man, and then another time I was a younger dude, and I feel like he was racist too because he wasn't as far as friendly or none of that. He was like, yeah, step out the car. He's like, you got drugs? I thought he was joking, so I'm laughing. No, I got no drugs. He was he was dead serious. He's like, my dog can smell drugs. You got drugs in your car. And I was like, no, I don't. At that point, I realized, no, he's very serious. Because naturally, of course, being a black man, you already know to be on edge. Your parents tell you, keep your hands on the wheel. They tell you had to talk with your dad, all that, or your mom. But I never personally had a really bad experience. So this is my first time being no, this man is seriously trying to lock me up. So I'm in the back of his car, his dog back there barking and being aggressive. I'm just chilling wow, this is really happening. Because I had another experience, and it was an older cop. And he was like, oh, yeah, man, my dad or his mom went to Truman. He was having a great conversation. And then he I think he lowered my ticket or whatever. But it's just funny. It goes to show you, you have to always be on edge, essentially. But yeah.
When you think about this, right, and you all are law-abiding college students who are going to be leaders in this world that we live in, right? That's the purpose why you're going to school. So you can change the image or the idea or the stereotypes about black men, young black men, right? And so when you think about this challenge, right, how do you keep pressing forward? What do you do to keep encouraging yourself from these very difficult moments?
I think one thing, I do two things, right? I wake up, talk to the Lord for a minute, ask him to watch over me, protect me. And I think one thing that kind of drives me, and it's kind of morbid in a sense, I wake up and like, today could be the day. Today I could definitely die. Today I could definitely be oppressed by a cop. Today something bad could go wrong in society because of skin of my color. But for me to change that, I have to keep on. You know what I'm saying? I have to keep pushing. I have to go another day, then another day, then another day. So I can get to a point to where men, black young men, under me and the younger generation don't have to feel that way. Don't have to be scared to walk out the door.
I do something similar. I do like three things. Like one, I think like my faith, like God. And then two, I think, I gotta do this for me. Like, am I gonna allow this to stop what I want to achieve for myself and my dreams? And then the last thing I think of, like, obviously our ancestors, like, man, there were people out here that didn't have a say. You couldn't say it. Like, you literally could, like, there was nothing you could do. Like, that's like you're powerless. And like, they take away your manhood, all these different things they do. And it's so systematic. Like, everything is like detail. I know you were talking about like intentions. Like, it's all ingrained, like either subconsciously or, they're not aware. And it's, it's just so many different things. But I just think of how they went through this. And it was like hell compared to what we go through today. Like, of course, we're still like dying. This is terrible. But back then it was obviously worse. So I just think about how they did this for me, and I gotta keep on going because it'd be like a slap in their face. Like, why be lazy and sleep away and like waste my potential, like reading and all these different things they've done for us. So definitely looking back and like paying respect to them. Like, I gotta go hard. I gotta get it for them and me. So yeah, both of them.
I love it. I love that, and you're getting a lot of conversation on it, man. The people they're joining in. There's a question that's been asked. It says, do you all think there should be classes or courses designed to help people navigate through scenarios with police? And should this fall on the responsibility of the parents or the individual? That's a question that's out there. Go ahead.
My bad. I just wanted to jump right on that. I think two things. It's actually a great question because that's training civilians. Like, she was this person basically asking, like, oh, do you think people should be trained on how to handle police? Like, no, police need to be better trained on how to handle people, black people. Like, it's crazy. That's a great question. But I think black people, realistically, they do need to like be aware, because like if you had a kid, you didn't tell them to be aware of like police, and let's say they're in a different environment, like you have white friends, they're gonna think, oh, they see how they treat their white friends, they're gonna treat me the same way, and then reality is gonna kick in. That's not gonna be the situation. So I think realistically, parents, school, however, it needs to get the word out that yes, like people do need to be aware of this, but that's not how things should be. Like, sadly, like police should be better. They should be better trained. They should be, they should have patience. They shouldn't. I mean, of course, like it's a very, intensive job. You have your life on the line, but at the same time, you're like dealing with black men and kids. It's a great question. That's all I can say.
I actually do think there should be classes or courses that help you deal with police. I also think there should be classes or courses where you are able to learn the laws. Because if you know the laws, that's all you really need for real to be successful with police stops.
I mean, knowledge is power. No, for real.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll lie to you. Like,
yeah, they will. They'll trap you into answering something that you probably, if you wouldn't have answered, then they wouldn't have been able to.
And they could use that against you.
Yeah, like when they pulled y'all over and was like, "Oh, we smell weed." That's I forgot what it's called, but like,
probable cause.
Yeah, probable cause. Now I can search your car, and obviously, a camera can catch a smell. So it's my word against these black kids. Right. I said I smell weed. You don't believe them?
But technically, I mean, if we were to take it to court, since we would have to be able to show we were in a rental car, I'm not saying we were smoking, but and then they would have to do research and like how many stops has this officer had where he automatically went to probable cause, and then it really would be kind of a wrap for him if he's putting this on young black men automatically.
Right.
So then that would be kind of like I don't know exact word, but that wouldn't look good on his character or his badge. So now
that's a great point, though.
Question.
Because in a rent car, you can check the actual car and see if you smell the smoke. Like you can look in a car, like you know how like smoke gets on furniture. So like, gets in your hair, gets everywhere.
So you can literally. Not saying people do smoke in rental cars, but I mean you don't have to pay the fees. But and then we had just got it, so it's no. I mean, either way, it's really clean. Basically, they do research. And you see how many times this officer has used probable cause. It's probably going to be he used it all the time, no matter
Right.
what.
And the funny thing is right after he pulled us over and he drove off, he literally pulled somebody over.
That's crazy.
As soon as they were passing us. So that's another
That's
one.
crazy.
Trying to hit quotas, trying to
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anytime I
They
get
do a lot, yeah.
anytime I get really pulled over and I know I didn't do nothing wrong, I'm like, he is just trying to make his quota really, just so he can get paid. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna shift a little bit here. We're gonna shift to another level. Talk to me. What's your thoughts about relationship at this stage in your life? Looking for you like I'm doing me as young black men who are striving to be professionals and really obtain some goals. Where are you?
I would say right now for me.
Now don't know if you got somebody looking at you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, just I'm just messing with y'all.
But now in this stage of my life, I'm 20 years old, turned 21 in July.
Okay.
I'm kind of becoming a young man and knowing what I want to do in my life and where I want to be at in the next stage of my life, and trying to envision myself in the next part of my life doing what I want to do. And so I kind of need to take this time and this age gap to try to just focus on myself really, and sort of make sure that my plans are set for me, and that when I get to that next stage that I will be in a stable environment and everything in my life will be balanced. Or a certain point, if I am ready for take on another relationship, that when that person comes into my life, like I can show them that I'm stable and able to provide for you if need be, if we continue to take this further on down the line. So
I say for me, right now, for a lot of people, it's either relationship is gonna be good for you or it's gonna hold you back. For me, I'm in a relationship. It's done nothing but help me in life. Everything. If I have a problem or questions, I know I can go to her and she'll give me good advice and feedback. So I got me a good one. So I'm cool. I'm settled down. I'm good.
What attracted you? And I'm coming to you too. But what attracted you when you met her? What was it?
I mean, I honestly feel like God knew what he was doing, and he put us in the same room, and them energies just couldn't go without each other.
Good deal. I like it.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
I know. It was like
So I got me a good one. Shout out to her. She held me down. So
That's
I'm
beautiful.
good.
That's
I
beautiful.
can back that up. I'm happy.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, she held me down. So I'm good.
That's it.
That's tight.
Well, fellas, what you think? Are you pleading the fifth? Which one is it?
I ain't gonna plead the fifth, but I think it depends on who you are, right? Like I think if you're gonna do a relationship, you know what I'm saying, close or a long distance, you gotta be ready for it. You gotta be mature about it. You gotta be ready for the ups. You gotta be ready for the downs. You gotta be a good communicator. Now, if you think you're still trying to get to that level of maturity, then go ahead and stay single. If you think you can't multitask having a life at college and also having a little love life on the side, then stick to your college. Have your fun.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that level, go ahead, hop in a relationship.
Yeah, to get advice. DJ, you good?
Yeah. No, it's just funny. So, because man, when you ask that, it's so. I've been just thinking about that throughout the last couple of months, relationships and all that. But in general, I think people need to be happy by themselves. I think people depend upon others too much, and I haven't necessarily experienced that, but just within the point of relationship, I feel like some people get into it and they expect, I want this person to be my therapist, this person make me happy, this person does this for me. It's like you need to not seek a relationship out of that. You need to seek a therapist or a chef or someone to clean your house. You don't get a girlfriend to be like, oh yeah, she can clean my dishes, she can straighten up stuff, she can do my hair. Dude, that's not what that's for. You look for servitude. So I think people need to be happy themselves to truly find someone for them. But also that's just how stuff happen. But
yeah, social media has a lot of people brainwashed.
Yeah. Talk about that. You say social media and its impact. How do you think it impacts your generation? Because your generation was the one, you all have so many social media outlets. We didn't have all that, right? So you still had to go use a payphone, or we had the real big, we had the pages. What you laughing at over there? We had the pages, and then we had the cell phone with the bag, and then the flip phone. But so how does social media impact you all, man?
I think it succumbed most of our generation to them believing they have some sort of reality that's not really there and that's not really true to what's really out there in life in general. So that they're spending all this time either on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that, looking at what these other people do and believing that, you know, oh, that's what I should be, or that's what I need to do, or going to a direct path that they're in. But really, they need to focus on themselves and know what they want and know how to make themselves happy. Because once they do that, then everything else will fall in place.
No cap. Like, I really think social media is making people want to rush into them. Everybody, you got hoes. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's hoes out here. If you're gonna be a hoe, be a hoe. Stand on it. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be a hoe.
Just be honest.
I know she. I know my mom.
I think your mama's enjoying, bro. That's the last name right there.
No, she's right there. But I'm not like seriously. You gonna be a hoe and live that life. Live that life. But don't let social media be like, oh, it's so nice to be booed up. Go ahead and get in a relationship. Can now you bring a hoe tendencies into a relationship?
Yeah, you can't make a hoe talk.
You can't. So what's the point of bringing that in there? You're going to mess that up. You know what I'm saying? And now you got somebody with an honest, true view on you. You know what I'm saying? You're lying to them. And now you're hurting this person. Now this person's going to go to the next relationship
And bring that hurt.
with that pain. And now we got more people getting hurt for no
Man,
reason.
y'all preaching, man.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look.
I love it.
I'm gonna. No, Rob is like made like so many good points, but like before you're like, you know, what's social media? I think it's a double-edged sword because like some people they see things and you're starting to learn that like, oh, this is not okay. Like a man should not be treating me like this. This is how a man should be treating me. You know, certain things from like dates or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, whatever it is. But and then also, of course, like the influence where you think you need something or you think you need to do this because everyone else is doing it. But I think I'm thinking about like the knowledge too. You could go out there and meet anyone from like literally around the world. You know, it's like a lot of different things you can do with social media. But I think so many people like right to get TikTok and they just like start laughing and like, you know, it's like there's so many different things you could do. But as far as the like influence on relationships, I think like pretty much what Rob said, like sometimes you can see something and think that's what you need to do, but really that's not what you need. It just depends on you. So I feel like people need to like seek inner, you know, guidance, I guess, besides like, oh, let me see on social media and figure out like what I need to be doing. So yeah, definitely.
You know, your generation, I was doing some reading, and your generation sees God, church, religion kind of different, right? What's your thoughts? How do you see those? God, church, religion, all that, you know, as young black men?
Man,
feel free to share your thoughts.
that's a deep question.
Hey, no, I can go. I'm telling you,
I can go. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
All right. I mean, so when it comes to God, right, I see him as my Lord, my Savior. I see him as a person that has, you know, forgiven me over and over again. My protector, right, my provider. So that would never change. But one thing I feel like that has changed or that is confusing people is people that are in the church. Because you have Christians who live by the Bible, right, who speak of the Bible. Then you have Christians who show up every Sunday and just be like, you know what, I'm a Christian now. I can do this. You know what, you're going to hell. You don't know nothing about the Bible at this point. You're just sitting there coming to listen to what God says instead of going and searching and seeing what he's telling you, what he's speaking to you about. That's why we got so many people who aren't Christians be like, Christianity, touchy subject. Well, I ask you why.
He's snapping.
No, for real.
He's
Can I
snapping
ask you why? Why is it a touchy subject?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I was talking to this person, you know, I'm gay. I'm going to hell. I said, who told me they can say that? Us in the Bible. No, this is an abomination. Nobody say you're going to hell because of it. It's not their job to tell you that. Oh, what else is wrong? You know, why else you want to go ahead and be a Christian? What's keeping you away from it? Oh, they're just, you know, every time they see me, I'm not welcome. Why are you not welcome? Because I'm looked down upon. Why are they looking down upon you? If you're a true Christian, you won't do that. So you got these fake Christians who's really messing up the church aspect and making people stray from God, which is hurting the whole religion in the whole.
Bro, he just snapped. As soon as you said when people get uncomfortable, because it's so funny. Like I never used to like hide my like faith or Christianity, but I literally experienced it like a couple months ago when I was like we were just talking to like a few girls. I was like, oh, you know, y'all believe in God? I was like, yeah, I'm a Christian. And I was like, oh, he's a Christian. And I was like, what? This is weird. That has never happened before. And she was like, oh, you're. And it was just weird. That was just funny that he said that, but. It's for that reason they think Christian. They think like they're scared. They think of like Republicans, conservatives, racism, you know, all these different things that literally is like the opposite of Christianity. It's just right. That's another thing. But as far as religion, I believe it's so deep. I think it serves two purposes. Like one is for faith. Like God is supposed to give you hope, or any religion is supposed to give you hope. That's what it's like for. And then second, like I take it like literally, like I do believe there's a God. I do believe God invented like the universe. All of us, like not just like figuratively, like like hell and all that stuff. But I don't force my views on anyone. Like it's really open to your interpretation. But again, like Rob really was snapping. Like literally every time he said something, I was like, man, I'm gonna say the same thing. Like a lot of people go outside the book or outside the religion to find sources. Like don't ask me about Christianity. Like read it yourself and like. It's just, I don't know. And also, like, last thing, I had a Muslim friend, and Muslims are very, like, serious about the religion. They're, like, you don't meet a Muslim that doesn't know you're supposed to, like, pray 5 times a day and do all these different things. Christians don't know anything about the religion. Like, so I was like that. And I was like, dang, like, he knows so much about his religion, and we're talking. And I'm like, I don't know nearly as much about mine. So seeing that in him, I was like, nah. So it encouraged me to get close with my God. So I've been, like, way more into the Bible, way more just, like, my spirituality and, like, all that. So I think religion is a great thing if you don't allow it to like be manipulated, which obviously like white people have done. So yeah,
I love and respect that guy, man.
Yeah.
What a guy.
He is. I know you're talking about it.
What a
So there's a question that was asked when we were talking about relationship. I'm gonna go back to it. He said, speaking of this topic, I'm curious, how have each of you learned how to love or be in a relationship from your life? And so who influenced you, to that point of view? So that was a question from the audience. And we want to also invite, if you're joining us, feel free to ask questions. We know we got a lot of people that's joining us today. So ask questions, and we want to hear from you. Go ahead. Anybody want to
Okay, I'll start off. Well, first, outside of my parents seeing true love with them, high school sweethearts. I have a great grandmother and a great grandfather, rest in peace to him, that they were married for 75 years before he passed away. So that means they would have been going on 80 if he was still here with us. But that was who I seen true love from. Truly, was my great grandma and my great grandpa, married 75 years.
That's it. That had to be awesome. That's heritage.
Yeah, and then like for every year, like we always went somewhere or took a trip somewhere for them to celebrate it. So it just was amazing. So that's how I seen true love.
I just want to chime in.
I mean, like he kind of hit it on the head. Just like seeing it through my mom, my dad, my uncles, my aunties, seeing how there are ups and there are downs of it, seeing what's good and what's bad from it. That's all the stuff I'm taking in. I'm trying to think about, like, do I want my relationship like this, or do I want to add this to my relationship? And then it was just, I was in a relationship my junior year of high school or sophomore year, either one of them. And FCA, very popular for us. And I was going through a crisis in my relationship. So I said, yo, God, I need you to talk to me. I need you to tell me, is this person for me? Am I being treated right? And, I do this. I'm not saying everybody should do it, but I do it and it helped me every time. I'll just open the Bible, bow. And right then and right there, he was like, she should treat you like a king. You should treat her like a queen. So if you guys ain't doing that, if you're thinking you're above the other, or, if you're putting yourself on a pedestal and just, stiff armor her down.
You can take it for granted.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, seeing that, taking in from my parents and my relatives, it just helped me put together what I think it should be, or how the good part of it is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hearing something here. So many times, and I know it's been pushed in media and things like that, all we hear about is broken families in the Black community. But I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing a different perspective. So why do you think that our families, our community has been given this negative, image?
I know from speaking from personal experience, but I wouldn't say, because my family is not broken at all, and I have really like 3 sides of my family, because my brother, me and him are different dads, but I still include like his side of his family, my family too, because I'm very close with his dad's first cousin. I'm close with him. And so I think we get this narrative because there's a lot of people that, you got the baby mamas, the baby daddies, dads that lead their children out of their lives, or they're not in their child's life, and things like that. And I just kind of look at it like, why don't more of us actually like stick it out and like try to find a way to like co-parent? Because that's what my parents did for me. Like, they never got married, none of that. Like they were always good co-parents, and they were able to help get me and my brother all the way through high school and to college, where we didn't have to pay for school at all. So I think they did a wonderful job in that aspect of it, and I don't know why, or why shouldn't others be able to do that the same with their children and not have all these feuds, dilemmas, child support money, all that going on to where it breaks the family apart. It actually rips it apart.
To kind of answer Darius' question, I feel like a lot of broken families are coming from like people they just don't know better, like the dudes, like they don't know what to do, like, and then that kind of goes back to where you asked us, what do we think the true definition of a man is? They don't know exactly what a man is because they never probably had it in their life. So I mean, at the end of the day, it takes two to make a baby. So if you make one, you're gonna have to take care of your responsibilities. My opinion. I feel like if the baby's there, you should do everything in your power to be in the baby's life. But I mean, everything just doesn't work out like that. You might have a bitter baby mama or something like that, keeping it from the child. Right. She's mad because you probably moved on. You probably didn't want to have the baby anyway, and she trapped you. And it's just probably a whole lot going on. But I feel like it comes down to they don't know. Mm. We need to probably do a better job of teaching us at a young age what it is. This is how you be a man. This is what you need to do. If this happens, you need to make sure you do all your power to do what you can. Because at the end of the day, if you do all your power, can't nobody take that from you.
Right. I think that it comes down to a few points, right? Especially social media related. I think a real reason why broken families are so heavily pushed is because it's so glorified. You have a lot of people in the Black community, instead of keeping business with business, you want to put your business in the air. You want everybody to see it. Oh, my baby daddy ran out on me. Oh, my baby daddy cheated. Oh,
yeah. Baby mama still
my baby mama did that. You know what I'm saying?
He don't do this.
You know what I'm saying? Pushing all out. And the second thing that happens is you have people who now soak the information in. Now people are like, oh, so this is what's happening? Or, oh, she tripping, so maybe I should avoid that. If I have a kid, can't have it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have, I'm scared to take that risk. And if it happens, now you don't have the courage to stick with it. And then that's how we have people nowadays perceiving it. Now, if you have more people of like the good bonded families, because there's a lot out there. It's not like we're scarce. People who have good bonded families can just go ahead and also like put it out there and have people who actually want to share it, have people who actually like it. Then it wouldn't have to be so glorified of the Black community is always so broken, because that's not what it really is.
Now, when sometimes we see movies and things like that that impact our community, the image of our community. Even sometimes music and things like that, that impact our community, that perpetuates whatever this part of dysfunction is. So, how do we respond to that? We know that music is art, right? It's an expression, right? But we live in a time where individuals can't separate the nonfiction from fiction, or reality from that fantasy. So go ahead.
So I'm in a world lit class, right? I know it's like totally different from what we're talking about, but he says something that really hit home with me when we think about people who live in Greece, right? For Greek mythology, we as Americans sometimes be like, so you guys really believe in like Zeus and all of them, right? But technically, it's like that's just a moral lesson. Or like somebody, like we talking to a guy from Africa about a spider that went up to the clouds and stole the great storybook from the gods and came back down, right? Oh, so you really believe in that? That's just a moral lesson. What we have to do as a generation, as people, is look at these songs, look at these movies, look at these pieces of art, and we can't say, you know what, like this is life, this is real life. That's not real life. That's somebody's perspective. You can't base somebody's perspective and then put it towards the life out here in the social world. That's why we got so many people confused. Like, that's why we have so many Black young men wanting to be a thug. And I really want to touch on that, because so many Black young men want to be out here and be like, oh, I can't be no pussy. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't let him punk me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I need to get a gun. No, they shoot, we shoot. And the only reason they like that is because you have music that's just putting that out. People are like, you know what? That's life. That's real life right there. I got to live by that. Because if I don't, I'm going to end up being a victim to it. And a lot of people need to go ahead and get it through their head. That's not life. That's somebody. First of all, half that stuff is fake. Let's keep it a buck. Everybody out here in the rap game, it's not like how it was back in the 90s, right? Where you had true gangbangers out here rapping.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people who just, want to say this stuff for clout.
And they was rapping to leave out the gang banging. So
I don't know though. It's a lot of rappers getting killed now.
Nah, I ain't saying it's the whole rap game.
No, I'm just saying it's a lot of rappers getting killed.
That's true.
That didn't used to happen.
Yeah,
Rappers used to just be rappers.
Yeah,
for a good time.
Now rappers is going to jail and getting killed.
Yeah, I really see his perspective too. I think some people it's like just a generational difference. Like they see like younger people, they like, oh, them cats ain't blah 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 blah. Like no, they younger. And I feel like it's not in the same way. I feel like back then it had like sense to it. Now it's like EBK. Everybody was like, no, there's no rules, no. Oh yeah, watch out for the kid. No, it's. I feel like it's worse now. It's more ruthless because it's starting younger. Like I get what Rob's saying, but like it's also like worse. Like yes, there's like more rappers, but it's like we'll be talking about different things. But just in general, though, from music, I don't think like yes, young, like music definitely is influencing them. But I think it's like think about it. Like you have an absence of something, and this is filling it in. So if you have music saying, "Oh, do this," and then on top of peer pressure, your environment. You're gonna think this is all you have to do. It's either be this or lame, or you don't see anything else you can do. Like, oh, I see this is all I see. I see basketball, rap, and whatever else. And
that kid in Chicago, he probably woke up. He probably seen or heard 4 people get killed just waking up.
Oh yes, like or even St. Louis, which is sad.
So that real life, that might be their real life. That's all they know.
No, and that's I think another.
There is that. You know what I'm saying? There is people who live that life, but I know people. You know what I'm saying? That who don't live that life,
I know
but who want to live that life
it's
coming from a good place because
it's
cool.
Because it's glorified. No, I've seen so many people like Rob, like so we all. Well, I know you're from Kansas City, but we're from St. Louis, so like like Ladue area, Creve Coeur, Olivet. There's so many people that like don't have to choose that life, but they will because like that's what's cool. That's what's real. That's like.
And then again, like that translates towards social media when they get that sort of platform. When you get that sort of platform where it makes you feel good about yourself and like the image you're putting out there, you go want to try to keep up that image and what you're doing. And so a lot of people nowadays, especially with that, once they get that image, they want to uphold it and they want to keep that and maintain it.
Now you're doing things you never even imagined yourself doing.
Right.
Just because this image you portrayed, now you have to actually do it.
And then it also gets you into certain situations where you wouldn't even thought you would have been in if you would have never done that in the first place. So.
A lot of people they don't know how to be their own person. Which me personally, that's why I think a lot of people our age smoke weed.
Okay.
I feel like they do it because of peer pressure.
Really? And
that's what I think.
Let's talk about that a little bit. It's become common, right? It's become common. Now I'm going to preface this because
illegal.
This is not new, right? We know in the 60s, well, actually the end of the 50s to 60s, that's what President Nixon was trying to outlaw. He was using that as his platform, right? And so they made it illegal, but then it always stayed in our community, right? And I can remember way back when my aunts and uncles, you didn't know what it was. You knew it had a distinct smell to it, right? And so it's always been a part of our community. But now it seems because it's just open, you can just do it now, right? But I don't think we realize the impact of it. I don't think we understand the impact that marijuana is actually, it actually robs our motivation, and so why do you think in this generation or in our culture, I say that more so in our culture, why do we think we're so acceptable? We engage in that.
I don't know. I can definitely let someone go first. I'm just gonna say something like real quick as far as weed, and you can kind of talk about like cigarettes and alcohol and how it affects your body. But yeah, so like weed is like obviously like there's 2 components like CBD, THC. You got the psychoactive, like the other part that make you relax and all that. So it has benefits. Obviously, people do it medically, recreationally, but as far as like specifically within the Black community, it is bad. I don't want to see like a young kid smoking weed at like 10 or 11 and obviously you've seen that. I've seen kids smoking weed in like middle school bathrooms and all types of stuff. But man, like it's crazy. I remember one time actually, it was a police dog like going through. I went to like Romney Middle, and they was like coming through the school, like literally trying to find weed. And back then, I didn't even realize like the gravity of that situation. I'm like, oh, it's just a dog like trying to find drugs. But it's like, wow, this is middle school, like metal detectors and all type of stuff. But I think weed in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I do agree with him. Like you shouldn't see like, oh, I'm doing it because everyone else is doing it. Like I don't think that at all because that's like just peer pressure or like that's that influence. But I think in itself, weed isn't a bad thing. But I think
for Black people it has become a bad thing, if that makes sense. So
then I feel like, because, I have this conversation a lot of people, and there are good benefits to weed, but there are good benefits to weed for people in certain situations. Now, when weed has become misused, it's when now you're just using it for recreational purposes
or abusing it.
Yeah, now you're just abusing it. Because as a generation, we have sit here and be like, well, can't get cancer, that's something that we're not really worried about. Or, it's not something where it messes with your mental to where you end up in a psych ward. You know what I'm saying? But then it gets to a point in time where people who have used or misused it are now like, let me get my next high. Now we're putting more stuff in it. Now we're trying to figure out how can we enhance it? What else can I do while taking it to get myself a better time? And then now it's just being misused, and now it's being pressed towards kids. I didn't do a research study, but I looked at some articles about it, and there are a lot of people who are advertising towards kids 16 and younger.
Yeah,
because they're going to be consumers.
It's terrible.
And especially 16 and younger, you're hitting puberty. You're in high school. You're in middle school. You are definitely going to be hit by peer pressure. It's not an if and oh. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you have somebody putting a blunt in your face, and if you don't have a strong will, of course you're going to succumb to it. And now you just have more consumers going in and getting more weed.
I'm going to shift this one more time. You are Black men at a PWI that the African American population is just about 5.56%, right? Total. And the population of African American men is even less than that. And we hear about the imposter syndrome. We hear about other syndrome when it comes with the racial threat and being stressed. How have you adapted in the culture? How have you adapted to be able to be successful, maintain your identity, your true self, or have you dealt with imposter syndrome? And if you have, how'd you adapt to that? How'd you, kind of deal with it?
You just talking about like in this type of environment that we're in now.
In the current school environment, in a college space, and if you think about the community, if you think about experiences, you can look at that however you want to.
I would say for me, I think even when I came here, I don't think I was jeopardizing my any identity or whatsoever, because as I was growing up, my mom, she used to put me in certain situations to where I would be able to be comfortable in this type of environment that I'm already in, to where I could still be myself and learn how to act accordingly around different races and stuff, especially whites. Because I know back in middle school, I used to always do this Upward Bound program down at SLU High School.
Okay.
And I was around mainly white students, and I had to get up and be all the way down there in the city by at least 8:00 in the morning, and be in the classroom with them, and I could sort of see the different type of ways we were taught in the Black community and how they were taught in the white community. And so just by that, I was actually seeing how it's way different and getting accustomed to it. And so when I came here, I think it was sort of that same type of way I felt then.
Okay.
So when I came in, I really wasn't in under no peer pressure or anything, but I know it was a more factor of getting used to me being probably the only Black kid in the classroom, which also I didn't have a problem with, because I've been friends with white people before. I've known white people that I've become best friends with over time and got to know better. So I don't think it was really a problem for me once I got here, because my mom, she made me accustomed to this type of environment.
Oh, I can go. Or no, you go. You got it.
I think it came down to me figuring out that people see me as scary, right? It's not just people who are white. It's Black people, white people, anybody who sees me as a big Black, I'm scary, right? So when it comes to being in class, if I don't open my mouth, everybody's going to stray away. If I don't, contact the teacher, let them know, hey, I'm just trying to get my education like the next guy, It's going to be difficult if I don't. You know what I'm saying? So for me being one of the only Black kids in class, and Jesus, it's great when you see another one.
Oh man,
but dude, it's great.
Depending on how that goes.
Yeah,
it don't always go how you want. We on the same page. Sometimes it's just a little different. So.
Yeah. But when you're strictly that only guy in class or just the only person in class who is black. It's just you have to try harder. You have to understand how everybody's asking questions. You have to understand the terminology that's now being used in class so you can adapt. Because if you don't adapt, you're going to fall.
What strategy do you use to adapt?
I think I'm a talkative person, as we all can see. But when it comes to class, sometimes I sit still for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I know answers to questions, I want other people to ask questions. I want to hear what terminology is being used. I want to hear how the professor's asking questions. Or I'll send emails and get more clarification, figure out what he's trying or what she's trying to push towards me so I can understand it more.
And I know one thing with me, especially last semester, my communications teacher, he's the head of the communications department, Dr. Self. He told me to be more engaged in class because he feels like I know the answers to the questions that he's asking. But a lot of times he says, kids, they don't want to raise their hands because they might be wrong. And because I know for a little bit, I kind of was like, if I feel like I raised my hand and answered the question, and I know I must likely be right, I feel like they might give me like a certain look. But after he told me that, I really didn't care. So I just started answering all the questions as soon as he asked them because I knew him right then and there. Like I'm sitting in the back, just like paying attention and not answering the questions. And like it's not like I'm stupid or nothing, but I was kind of just afraid to be probably the smartest kid in the class if I was at the time. I ain't know. So
I feel like a good way as far as like assimilating is definitely like communicating, like talking to them. Like you really have to like, I don't want to say like, like fake be friends or anything, but like you have to be in the social groups, you have to get in the group meets, you have to get the Snapchats. Like doing that, I've learned so much. I never knew what Chegg was. I literally just learned about that like my sophomore year college. I didn't know anything about like all these different tips for like Microsoft Excel or how to convert like a Word doc to like a Google Doc so you just type it on there versus like trying to find like a computer or TrueView or something. But just like your original question, I've definitely experienced imposter syndrome. And when I finally figured out what that was, I was like, wow. And it's funny because I went to a white school like before, and I had no problem with it. But here, I think I saw like, more intelligent people. Like, it's like, this is college. So like high school, you got like, wide variety, but this is college. Like, it's like most people are like at a certain level. So I'm like, I'm like, dang, am I supposed to be here? Am I meant to be here? And I literally didn't, I thought it was just me. And then I realized, no, it's like there's a reason behind that. Like, just like unsure of yourself or like not having like the confidence or whatever. But, like it kind of worked itself out once, like kind of like some of the Rob, I'm like talkative and like just like nice to meet people and stuff. So just got the group meetings and got into the conversations. They like, hey, did you do this question or you got this question or this person has this? Like I won't say too much, but some people like your connections, like that's a guaranteed A in the class if you know this certain person. So it's really just from like talking and like reaching out. But I also wanted to say like as far as what Rob said, that's like I hate having to hear that like. You trying to come here to learn and your teacher's afraid of you and you have to like talk and let them know like no, you're not in danger. Like that sucks because no one else is going through that. Like even me as a black man, I've gone through that, like, but not with teachers, but like he's like obviously a bigger black man. And they see me, I'm like, okay, so I'm a little taller, but I've seen that like on a different level. But imagine like your teacher, I'm gonna look at you different and it's like another obstacle, So
no. I was sitting there thinking, my question is, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell your younger self if you think back?
What are you looking at?
You tell me, what would you tell? Let's say all of you are upperclassmen now, right? So what would you tell your younger self, maybe your freshman year or your senior year in high school?
I keep it simple. I've said this phrase a lot. I've said it probably since senior year of high school. Be great. It's a lot in that phrase. That's why I would say it to myself. It's a lot in that phrase. Telling me, like, be confident. Go in there. Okay. Let people know who you are. Don't give up. Persistency. You know what I'm saying? All that, be a leader in the classroom. Set an example for people. All of that in that one term. Just be great.
I love it, man.
I'm a big believer on everything happens for a reason. So I feel like everything I've been through or did was for a reason, and I wouldn't change a thing. But if I was talking to my senior year self, I would tell him to hold out on just some I don't want to say too much on the internet, but just wait a little bit because it could have been a bigger opportunity that came instead of jumping the gun. But that's about it.
All right, be patient.
Yeah, patience.
All right, okay.
Yeah. I know for me, probably to my freshman year, so senior year self, whatever obstacles come your way, learn how to stay grounded, overcome it, and keep moving forward. That's what I would tell him.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way, man. I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't have learned this. And, from learning from your mistakes and all that. But it's funny because I don't think I asked you the one question you asked me, like, what's the man? To me, like, it's like integrity. So I feel like just back then letting myself know, like, man, just be yourself and, like, just stay true to yourself. I feel like sometimes I have to, like, shape shift into certain areas and act like a certain way, or, I'm in this type of environment, so let me act this way. So I just tell myself, like, of course, I know everything for a reason, but just stay true to you, and like it's gonna make your life a lot easier because like you're gonna find the people that gravitate to you for being you and not like this facade. You gotta like, they think this is how this person is versus just like finding true connections. I've been doing that like ever since like last year. Now I'm been like getting like closer friends versus all these like associates. Now I'm like getting actual friends, like people I can like trust and like, I can call on this person, they can help me out, not just let's party or let's study. Like, no, I have like actual friends now. So yeah, just stay true to yourself and like integrity.
It is important to have both though.
No, I definitely have both, but I value the friends. I agree. But like
balance.
Yeah. No, you're right. I feel like throughout life you have to have moderation. Like it's definitely a balance between both. I just think I had too much of one. I think I had too many associates, not enough friends. Cause like I'll be out talking to everybody, but then I'm like by myself. If I'm not there, I'm just I don't. Yeah, so I agree with him. Like, it's definitely both, but I just didn't have enough like actual genuine friends. So yeah.
I'm sitting there and I was thinking about a particular question. When you're looking at you all the student athletes, right? You student athlete and scholars, right? Because you in a space where you have to perform to stay on the field, right? You got to do what you got to do. We see now nationally, a lot of the blue chips are going to HBCUs. What's your thoughts?
I think that's actually good. I mean, really, I kind of want to say like HBCUs, they would have been going there if the pressure from the HBCUs would have been on the athletes. Like you got all the PWIs, they come to high schools and all that. HBCUs only recruit where they live, like where the college is. So it's really kind of been on the HBCUs, but that's all I gotta say. Like I like it. I'm for it.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure. I kind of wish, like looking back at it, I kind of wish that they would have took an effort to come up to the Midwest and seeing what we have, because especially like in Mississippi, my dad went to Arkansas University.
Okay.
So I used to go down there all the time in Mississippi because that's where my whole family's from. Like that's nothing of a little hop, skip, and a drive for me. So like, why couldn't they do the same for us, really? But I know it goes on to like their budget and everything they have to do as far as like recruiting and everything. But like still, like you see all these kids' films around the country. All it is to shoot of an email, and that's all it needs right there.
I think definitely this is something that I've been really waiting to see. Once I finally got to a PWI, seeing how it feels just to be like a very small number of us on campus. Like I want to see a lot of the younger generation head to HBCUs. I want to see a lot of, new rivalries. I want to see a lot of new conferences, spark back up. I went to a HBCU football bowl one time, right? It was lit. We had bands going crazy.
Where'd you go?
I couldn't remember. I was like 7.
Oh,
I was like 7.
I was like 7.
But it was lit. You felt you didn't feel out. Like once you finally get on Truman, and there's not a really large number of us, you feel kind of out of place. You feel like you got to kind of readjust, and you got to figure out how to operate over here. But going to HBCU, you know what I'm saying? There's a black guy, there's a black girl. You see them everywhere. You're going to have fun there. You don't feel natural. You won't have as much stress.
Would have been a blast.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have as much things attacking your mental because you fit it in. So, yeah, I'm really happy that we have a lot of athletes, good athletes, actually, heading towards HBCUs and bringing a popular name to it.
You're talking to a freshman, not a freshman. You're talking to a junior or a senior in high school, and they're an athlete. They're also a scholar. what do you tell them? What do you tell them to prepare themselves for the challenges that you talked about, Winston, with coming into college, being an athlete, being a scholar, and how do you help them prepare?
Well, first and foremost, I would say do your research on wherever you sign that dotted line to and say you're gonna commit. Do your research. Maybe ask a couple players like how's practice, how like trying to compare it to your high school situation, so that way it's a perfect fit for you. Really, I would just say make sure you find the perfect fit for you, and then really once you do that, everything else is gonna fall into place because this is gonna be just like high school. Just you're gonna be on your own. But yeah, I would just say make sure you find the perfect fit.
But is college just like high school, college ball?
I mean, if it's a perfect fit for you, like kind of like for my high school, like it was hard to work. As long as you stayed on top of it, you went to class, you listened, you asked questions, boom. You're going to, not necessarily at Truman, you're going to do good, but you have a better chance of doing good. And football, as far as like you stay true to the course, you work out, you put in the work, it's going to show, and you're going to get on the field, you're going to do what you need to do. That's Truman. We work out, we do what we got to do. You learn the play. I mean, it's a little different because, you got more defenses and offenses. You get real deep into it, but you old enough now to understand that. But, yeah, Truman was a perfect fit for me coming into football. It wasn't really too much different from my high school because my coach every coach is different in high school and how they prepare you and your athletes. He kind of already prepared everything we was doing. Like, not saying it, my high school workouts kind of was a little more challenging than Truman in a way. So, I came in here and I fit right in.
What's your thoughts?
I think, first thing first, especially coming from my high school, I would tell a lot of people, let's figure out how to study early. Because when you come in, you don't want to be behind. You don't want to figure out time management. You want to go ahead, here are my classes, here's my homework assignments. Because it's no longer teachers holding your hand. No longer teachers are like giving you something you can complete in 30 minutes during class and turn it in. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go ahead and figure out the ins and outs of studying so you can go ahead and come in and dominate your first week. And then when it comes to football, man, just be coachable. Find a home, find a place that fits for you, especially if it comes to just coaching wise, if it comes to you just wanting to fit in with an ethnic group or something like that. Find a home that fits for you and be coachable. It's not going to be easy coming in. Not every person is going to come in and take a spot on the first day. You know what I'm saying? That should be your goal. But you're not going to come in realistically and be like, yeah, I'm a starter now. So take that, be coachable. Let people talk to you. If you failing, don't be like, I'm an all-star, I'm a superstar, I don't need to hear all that. Just put me on the field. No. Take in the techniques. Take in the proper way to run the defense. Take in the proper way to run the offense so that you can get on the field faster than most people who are just hard-headed.
What you think?
It's piggybacking off of what Brandon and Greco said. Like time management, that was big for me coming in. I really didn't have much time management coming in because really in high school, at the high school I went to, I wouldn't say it was hard at my high school, but some of the things like I was able to do it like right in the morning before class. Like I was able to like pick it up quick. I was able to write it down, get all the answers, and turn it in right when class was right about to start. So I would say coming in, do your work early, look at your syllabus, and look ahead, see what all the assignments you have, write it down on the calendar, and make sure you plan ahead and make sure you set times for each of these assignments, especially your big ones. So it makes you have enough time to do this in this time period, and then to complete it by this date or this certain date, and to make sure that it's all correct. And by the time you're ready to turn it in, you either have a perfect A or a B or such a good grade that you did your best on. And as far as football, I would say pay attention to coaching detail. Now, because coaching detail, that's one of the biggest things that most, when coming in, like they'll miss and they'll just look to try and press to get on the field quick. But it's really about coaching detail and listen to what your coaches are asking of you to do and listen to what they want you to do. Because really right there, when you do what they want you to do on the field, like correctly, that's how you get on the field quicker and do what's in the best interest of the team. Because that's what coaches most likely look for.
What's next? What's the future hold for you all? What do you see? What do you see? What do you want to see? What do you want to, be? What do you want to be? What do you want to do?
I know for me, I want to see myself I plan on moving to Houston with my sister, because that's been me and her been talking about that ever since my father had passed late 2020, and so I wanted to move down with her, be close to her, because we really didn't grow together, and so be down there and pursue a career in engineering, even with the communication degree. If I can't find a job in communications down there somewhere, that's what I like to do. And just being down there, because there's a lot of industries and stuff down in Houston, or a lot of opportunities, so where I can make a stable living for myself.
What's next?
For me, I plan to start up a couple businesses,
Okay.
and hopefully they thrive, and then the rest is on from there.
Any particular type of business you have in mind?
I'm looking to get into the trucking business and own a couple trucks.
All right. I know a guy that owns a fleet of them.
Yeah, I'm talking to a mentor right now. He's mentoring me through the little outs and ins. He owns about 10 of them.
That's cool.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Ownership for real, like you owning the trucking versus like consumers. So yeah, that's cool. I like that.
What about you, fellas? What's next?
Go for it. Okay, I'll go first. I'm trying to be a life changer, simple as it is.
Okay.
If it comes by being a teacher and helping kids understand that education isn't something to dread, helping kids understand that through education you can also change the future, or if it comes by being a coach and teaching young men how to be men, you know what I'm saying? Teaching them that you don't have to be this certain way, or you don't have to follow the social world to be a great person, to be a person with relevance to their life. So yeah, that's my goal, to be a life changer in some kind of way.
Man, I love that too.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you to go. That's why I told you to go.
No, hey, I'm fine. Hey,
He gonna drop the mic on you.
and that's cool. For me, I have like somewhat of a like plan, but I think you more so just talking about like what the things you want to achieve, like your goals and all that. And man, I have so many different things from. I think really the simplest way to put it is like create, but also teach, like create and teach. So I want to create, like that could be like a podcast, graphic design. It could be clothes. It could be a business. It could be teaching financial literacy, like making music, art, like so many different things I want to do. But I think also I want to like honestly like give back, but like that's similar to Rob. I want to like let people in on this information. Like there's so many different things out there. I love sharing. I want like people to know this. I want people to like be able to like do the same things I'm doing, because you know better, you do better.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a lot. But as far as like an actual plan, I think I want to like secure like some type of job, like either hybrid, I can work online, or in office in St. Louis. I want to. I already talked to my parents, and a lot of people don't want to do this, but like I can stay at home rent free and work. A lot of people can't do that. So and most people don't want to. They probably just want to move out, live on your own. And a lot of people, honestly, after college, don't want to go back to their parents, and that could be a lot of different reasons. But for me, I'm like in a blessed situation where I can like go home and be happy, like chill.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine making like a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 salary. You saving that for 2 years, and then I'm gone. I'm trying to travel. I want to go everywhere, see the world, and I want to live my life, man. I want to be happy. Happiness is number one. I want to be happy.
Okay. What does happiness? How do you define that?
I got you.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right, because there's so many different ways. Like happiness to him could be completely different from me, and that's like to get you to that feeling. But I think happiness is just like, because of course you're gonna have problems and stress and all that, but I think like inner peace is happiness. Like just like it's on a, I don't know. I guess thinking of it like you can't be happy if you're constantly battling stuff inside your head. So I feel like you can't be your best self if you don't know yourself. You have to like do a lot of inner thinking and figure out what's best for you. But like I think happiness is like when you get to like as close as you can to like self-actualization, like knowing yourself the best is gonna lead you to be happy. Because if I know what I want and I know why I'm doing these things and I know why I'm like doing stuff, a lot of people are their worst enemy. I feel like I'm my worst enemy. I've been like stunting my growth where I'll go and get in my way, procrastinate. But I feel like if I actually did all the things I think of, stuff would be great. But human nature, you just be lazy. But yeah, I think happiness is just like figuring out yourself and figuring out like what you like and what you love. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. To me, happiness is doing what you want to do when you want to do it.
Freedom.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Like I'm happy when I can do that.
Are you able to do that quite often?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, can I ask a question?
You sure can.
Actually, he just kind of sparked it. Like, do y'all feel like money can buy happiness?
I feel like money can buy the stuff you want to do to be happy.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, But yeah, I mean, I feel like when you get money, you work out. Like, just say for instance, like you everybody starts with you don't have no money, then you get all this money. Now you can do whatever you want. I feel like that. I mean, that creates your happiness.
Sure.
But I mean, it also can be the root of happiness too. But I mean, the root of evil. But you know, but I feel like money can buy happiness.
But shoot, just last year, 2 richest men in the world got divorced.
Yeah.
But then what do we say? You gotta be happy with yourself.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
But that's a whole different topic, though.
No, it is. Because I was gonna say this, man. Like, some people staying married for a long period of time doesn't mean they're happy. They're doing it because of like, oh, that's all you don't like. Older people, you don't get divorced. You just stuck. Like, they'll get different houses, different rooms, they'll sleep in different. They're not gonna get a divorce. Mm-hmm. So some people, they like, hey, this just is what it is, man. Like, do your own thing. But again, that's off topic. But so you do you agree though?
I think
that's why happiness.
But
like
as
money.
far as we see them, both of them, we see them. They
they
best life.
No, like, bro. There's no. My bad. I'm saying real quick. There's no like universal. Oh, this is what it has to be. Like, no, bro. Like, co-parenting is a beautiful thing. Like, that's actually like amazing. I feel like that's harder than like being together because co-parenting. That's like you have to have mutual respect for this person and knowing they're not in love with you anymore. You don't have this connection to them. They're out there doing their own life. So for you to like put all that aside and raise your kid, it's like it's not easy. So co-parenting is like it's cool. Like that's like. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, ideally, some people will say, like, get married, have a couple, and, like, stay together. But the next best thing, I feel like, if not even better, is co-parenting. So that's, again, off topic.
Does that say money? The Bible says money buys all things.
Money answers all.
Yeah, okay.
I think money is an accessory. Money is an accessory to happiness. Money
it's a tool.
Yeah, money can't buy happiness. If you think money is happiness, now you're being corrupted. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't get now you're greedy. Right. But money can get you to where you want to go.
Yeah,
money can get you to what you want
to
have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's an accessory, not something that buys.
But happiness. I mean, without money, you can't do nothing. So
I mean, there's people who are happy without money though.
So look, I'm so glad you said.
Why they happy? Are they content?
Yeah, are they? But then again, like you can't do nothing without money. You can't pay bills. You can't do that.
I'm just so
that leads to all stress. Like. You can't pay your bills. You can't go eat what you want to eat. You can't. It's just a whole lot.
I think it depends. Like it depends.
Yeah,
bro.
but no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. You saying money. You shouldn't let money make you.
Right. But you need money, right? For like simple stuff you need to survive. Keep a house.
It's not simple. You need money for everything.
Everything
costs. Nothing is free in life.
Nothing is free.
You know what?
I have.
It's a little, but no, I agree with you to like an extent. Like no, like it's funny because like I actually agree with you. But I also hear what they're saying, of course. Like what they're saying,
I hear what he's saying.
There's a lot of logic to it, but like I'm glad you said that, so I can like get deeper into it. It's deeper than just buying things. It's real deep. But I will let you finish though, and then I'm gonna go in.
I've seen people who don't have anything. You know?
Yes,
I've seen people who are homeless, but who still are not just content, but are happy and spreading happiness, even though they have nothing at that time.
Yes.
Like case in point, like there was Paul when he was rich, dude was happy. When he had nothing, he was still happy. You can be happy without money, but it is a great accessory.
Yeah, you can
to go ahead and help you with a lifestyle that you want, or a lifestyle to help you with your happiness. But I won't say it buys happiness.
I got you. So look, I'm gonna try to like even like
sum
this all up. Yeah. So no, Rob was
but
like,
even your mindset is worth money,
man.
Because you can sell anything.
He's really talking that talk, but man, so. I feel like people have been always told, oh, money can't buy happiness. Oh, money, blah, blah, blah. Because you imagine if I had $1 billion, right? And y'all all had like 1,000. I'm like, no, this money, you don't want this money. Like, you don't need money to be happy, bro. Like, you can go over there and play the dirt, bro. You have a time, bro. Over there on a jet ski. Like, it's just crazy how they try to tell you money can't buy you happiness. But of course, I agree with Rob because there's some people that's like have money, they have all the. You know, they can literally, like, there's no turmoil, like, oh, if I need to do this, I'll buy this, or if I need to do this, I'll pay someone to do this. But also with Rob's point, like, you can't buy love. You cannot buy love. Like, that's something you literally cannot buy. And it's all these different things as far as, like, mental needs, that certain things you just can't buy. But something can get you there. Like, therapy can get you there, but you have to be able to afford a therapist. Like, it's real deep. But I just really like his point because I think people think it's like, oh, he's materialistic, or like, no, bro, they want you to think that. They want you to think you don't need money to be happy. Like, money is the means, it's the tools. Like, money gets you to this point where you can then be happy. Like you can be happy like that homeless person that's just chilling. He did it. Like I respect to that person that doesn't have anything that can be happy because like I think that's what God intended. I think God tells you like you don't need a weapon or anything, just me being there. So like literally just understand that God's always with you. That's enough. I don't need a person. I don't need this love. I don't need whatever. But of course, like realistically, you need like food, water, and a place to live. But in general, like yes, I agree that like money can get you to the happiness. They try to tell you like nah, like no, you don't need money. Don't be greedy. Like how you gonna tell someone like a mom who's like trying to provide for her kids? Oh, money don't buy you happiness. Like I can easily provide money, like food to the table, and buy my kids, clothes. Like I think it's like disrespectful almost to say that money can't get you there because obviously there's people like struggling. Like it's like if that's the point, why are they billionaires? They should just give that money out, right? Like oh, money can buy you happiness, so here, go ahead and have it. Like y'all don't need this, like but that's not happening. That's not happening.
They're not giving it away.
Not unless it's like a tax write-off. They're not donating money, like not reporting it. But.
There was a question.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you all approach it. Moti, I'm not sure what that is, said, what help do you get as Black men at Truman from the school or other places? Did anybody want to address that question? Or I didn't want to ignore it because one thing we do with Man in Moments is we invite people to share their questions. So what do you want to do? Okay.
I think for sure, gotta give a shout out to the CDI. I mean, without that, giving us a place to find other people of color, giving us a place to actually like kind of let loose and be ourselves, helping us out, giving us resources when it comes to if we need help studying or if we kind of get involved in the club. If a professor's not, clicking with you, maybe a person from a different standing can go ahead and help you in that aspect. So definitely, I say the CDI, and I think definitely the football team has helped me greatly when it comes to also finding tutors, when it comes to making sure I'm on top of my grades, when it comes to making sure that I can also mature as a man going through college.
Did you have any thoughts?
I agree with Greg.
I say definitely like family. Like my first week, like my freshman year, even now. But man, that whole freshman year, I talked to my family like so much, like just literally like 4 or 5 times a week. Now it's like weekly at least. But yeah, I like definitely stay tuned with my family because I feel like if I'm talking to them just as much, it's like it's nothing changed. It's like this is between us, but like it's just like I'm there. I'm like y'all telling me everything. I'm telling you everything that's happening. But so definitely family, and then yeah, like the sense of community. And you have definitely like elevated that because beforehand it was like on a decline. And I feel like I'm starting to see it like increase and get better. But yeah, definitely the CDI, community resources, friends, and then I guess I'm trying to think of stuff because you said specifically that Truman does. I think they're getting better at trying to hear people. I talked to like the president of like different organizations. They really do want people to, like, oh yeah, join our organization. I think they understand how hard it is, like trying to be the only person in the room because they never experienced like being the only white person full of Black people in the room. Most of them would never want to do that probably, but so I think they get in there. I think Truman definitely could do a lot more. They definitely could put more resources. They could put more people. It's a lot of things they could do. I think it's getting better, but it's just I don't know if it's enough right now. I don't think I would say that. I don't think anyone would say that, but I think they realize that. I think they're going to get there eventually. I guess it's a matter of like when.
So we're right at time. We got about 6 minutes before we're gonna end this. So I'm gonna ask you a question. If your life was a movie, and you compared it to a particular movie, what movie would it be, and why? And the reason why I ask that is because Man of Moments is about being authentic and being transparent. Mm-hmm. And so if your life was a movie, what movie would it be and why?
I love that question.
I think I'm gonna go. It was a nickname given to me up here for a few years by a girl named Janice. Shout out to her. Definitely the movie Blind Side. Coming up public school, you know what I'm saying? Trying to gain the information I need, trying to get the education I need to go ahead and be one of the top in the class, going ahead and receive a good education. And then also just, progressing and just trying to be great in football. So definitely the movie Blind Side.
That's hilarious, bro. It's so real. It's like real though. Yeah, like, I do want to say that's hilarious.
I would say we're gonna have to make a movie. We just
Okay.
gonna-
Ooh, I ain't never seen so like.
What would that movie look like?
What's the title of your movie?
Yeah, what would you call it?
Uh,
You get to make it.
Oh, please.
I would have to let somebody else name it, like somebody that's just been around me all my life. But
Okay.
it's gonna be different parts. I don't want to say too much because my story still ain't over yet. So,
Okay.
yeah. So my movie, I don't think my movie is out.
It's-
I can't think of one off the
Yeah, I
top
like
of my head, but yeah, we might have to make one for me.
Okay. Steve.
I can't think of it either.
They go on. Okay.
It's still in
That
the
was a
works.
good question though.
Yeah.
That was the response. You were, hey.
Yeah, I think I like one of a kind. I think I'm just
True.
Like everybody life, for real.
Yeah, everybody life. Yeah, so I can't think of a movie. I would want to make one. I would want my life to be.
I hear you. I hear you.
Once it's over with, then I'll bring it to the studio table.
Nah, I mean, get the producers in there.
I hear what you're saying.
Who gonna play you? Which actor gonna play?
Man,
He's like,
I don't know why some females sound like Michael B. Jordan when I had
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan.
bro,
Alright.
I've heard, and I don't agree with it personally. But I heard people tell me like, I was like, oh, you like BMF, and I think they see a black dude with a little beard and an afro. Like I don't think they see my face. You know what I'm saying? I think they just BMF or whatever that. I think it's like Beach. I ain't even seen it. I mess with it though, but yeah, that's funny though that you said that. You said
no, I'm for real. Like they be
No, I
telling
bet.
all the time, bro.
I bet.
Would you have a movie?
Man, I say like Project X. No, I'm just playing. No, I say really the closest I can think of, and I love movies, but I think the closest I can think of is either like Pursuit of Happiness or
That's a deep one.
Man.
only reason I say that is
I cried.
no, the ending was crazy. Yeah. I think like just like that determination and like just that wanting to be happy and like going through all these different things. I mean, personally, I have like a super tough life. You know, both of my parents like provide for me well, even though they didn't graduate college, but they've been married for like 20, 30 years. I think it's like 26, something like that. But I've had like yeah, no, definitely, and that's definitely helped a lot. But I think, of course, like everyone goes through their own battles, and I think just seeing that determination and like just all the like after rejection, after fail, after all these different things, he just kept going and it was finally worth it. So I think you compare it to like Pursuit of Happiness.
So we're at the very end. I want you to look at the camera and we'll go down the line.
What would your movie be?
Oh yeah,
What was my movie?
Yeah.
Mine is probably Antoine Fisher.
Ooh,
Antoine Fisher?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time. But that was a good
Yeah, I
movie
ain't
though.
seen that.
Yeah, that's mine. And so many similarities and
Oh,
challenges and going through a period where you gotta go back, you gotta heal. So what you see, the creation you see before you is through that hard work, working as a man, working through some feelings, some emotions, some anger, all those things in order to be, and even with degrees, still having to do that self-work, to really find your voice, find your authentic voice. And I think that's the work that we do as men, we're gonna do every day, and that's what makes us more valuable for the rest of the world and the community. But just because others receive it don't mean that we should benefit from it too. Mm-hmm. So that's why Antoine Fisher is always. Yeah. So I want you to look at the camera before we let them go. And first of all, we want to thank everybody that joined us. I know you can't see me, but we really appreciate you joining us. Please, please, please subscribe to No More Hiding, to our YouTube page. We would love your support. And we would love you to tune in. We also have Manhood Moments, which is every first and third Thursdays. And then my wife and I, we have Imperfect Interchanges, which is a conversation. And the purpose behind the Imperfect Interchanges is the fact that none of us are perfect, right? But we can engage in this dialogue and we can engage in this conversation that help us to see light. And so that's every Monday night at 8 o'clock. You can find us on whatever medium you're joining us, as well as we're on Journey Radio, which is an internet station, 142 countries. And we're just trying to positively impact the community. So thank you for joining us. But I don't want the last word tonight. I want them to have the last word. So I want you to look at and share something encouraging with the audience to encourage them for tomorrow. We start down. Brandon, talk to us.
I just want to say, whatever you're going through, it's gonna look up. Just keep pushing and just keep fighting. And life's gonna turn out how you want it to be, as long as you believe.
Thank you.
wake up every morning with a winning mentality and win the day for yourself, not nobody else. When you win the day, that's all that matters at the end.
Thank you.
This is gonna sound really corny. Life is like a hurricane. Storms gonna come, bad times gonna come. It's like a hurricane. There's an eye in the middle of it where there's peace, and then it's gonna pass. Keep pushing on.
I thought you were gonna be like, be great. But I think kind of similar to his is like have faith, have hope, and it's so easy to say have hope, but like just no matter how bad the situation is, realize you can only do what you can do. You can control what you can control, and you have to let go of what you cannot change, and that's like a very hard thing to do. So I'll say have faith, control what you can control, and let go of what you can't. And obviously that's like from the Bible as well. So take that how you want.
That's it. Powerful words from these men who are the next level leaders in this country, world changers. Thank you for joining us today. This has been Courageous Conversations with Dr. Sir. We'll see you when we see you. Be blessed.
The whole time.
No, I was like, peace out. Right. So.